Yo, what's up everybody? Today we're talking about the Dolly Zoom, Travel Zoom or Vertigo Effect. The effect got its name from the eponymous movie by Alfred Hitchcock from 1958, even though the first time it was used was 13 years before that in Alfred Hitchcock's Spellbound. After that it had its appearance in many movies like Jaws, Poltergeist or the music video to the song Thriller by Michael Jackson. It's usually pretty hard to execute as you need to dolly in or out while also zooming and pulling focus, which is especially hard if you're a one-man band like a freelance filmmaker. But there's a way to emulate the effect in software which comes pretty close to the original look. Before we talk about how to do it, let's talk about why you should do it. You can use the Dolly Zoom to create a feeling of unease in the viewer. So if your protagonist just has a breakdown before his big moment, that would be a great time to use a Dolly Zoom. Another great option is to use it on vast landscapes to overwhelm the viewer by the sheer size of nature. Alright, so first of all let's talk about the shooting method. You can do it with a gimbal, with a drone or a dolly if you have one. You could also try to do it handheld and then warp stabilize in post. But gimbal and drone are your best options. You basically just want to push into the scene or pull out of the scene. You could add some other movements as well, like a light orbit or a rise or something like this. Just keep in mind that you want to dolly in or dolly out. Alright, we're now in Premiere Pro and I've added 3 drone clips. We've got one dolly in with a light orbit shot. Then we've got this one, which is basically just a dolly in and drop down. And another dolly in with a light rise. I've just nested those, got a little bit of speed going on, so they aren't as slow as in the original, and added warp stabilizer to all of those. Alright, so what you want to do is go to your effects panel, search for transform, and throw it onto your clip. Then check uniform scale and click on the toggle animation thingy, so we can change the effect over the clip length. Next up, if you dolly in, like in those clips, you want to change from a more telephoto, so zoomed in, to zoomed out over the duration. Otherwise the effect won't work. If you're dollying out, you want to start with a wider field of view and then zoom in. To show you this, I'll just go to the start of the clip and go to something like 150. And then set another marker with 100 at the end of the clip. I'll keep the time interpolation on linear for now. You can play around with this later on. My laptop is struggling. But you can see there's already this warping effect on the landscape. We could even make this a little bit stronger, I think. Alright, now you can see it. Way better. Now we could play around with something like an ease out on a later keyframe, render it again, so the effect is strong in the beginning and then fades out later on. But that's basically it. Let's do the same for the other 2 clips now. Throw transform on, uniform scale, scale from like 170, hit the clock, and 100, and do the same for the other one. Transform, uniform scale, 170, clock, and 100. And that's basically just your starting point. You can go on from there later on. Now let's watch those 2 as well. I think it looks best on this one actually. The effect would work even better if we had a person standing in the middle of the shot, so you can see the landscape expanding around the person. Foreground helps as well, as you can see with the clouds and the water over here. This just makes the effect way more noticeable in comparison to this one, where the foreground is pretty far away from the drone. As you can see, it's pretty easy. Just throw transform on, check uniform scale, and then scale accordingly to your footage. I hope this helps you to tell a better story in your next video. Smash that like button if you've learned something new. Comment down below what you want to see next and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video.